Hey Madison. Art is everywhere. You almost can't escape it. But it's very powerful. It can make you feel so many different types of emotions, like fear, and it can make you feel unique. And some people keep it more private, while others would show everyone if they could.
Oh, what a load. And there you go. I hope you don't choke on this chin slapper.
It makes something ordinary seem extraordinary. Sorry. Or you can even live out your fantasies. So, if you have all the art supplies you need but don't know what to do with it, stick with me, and we'll learn how to become better artists. You start the way everyone would, with a nice space and a fresh page. And when what you make isn't what you expect, you start to look around for inspiration and see all of the unique styles that artists have. So you get some magazines to spark your imagination, and you make your first piece. And when your mom doesn't text you back, you start to question if you should just stick to music. But instead, you think that maybe you should talk to your dad's girlfriend because he says she does art. So when he goes to the bathroom, you muster up the courage to ask her some questions.
Thank you. My mom would give us just blank pieces of paper, but my grandma would buy us coloring books. And there was a big thing about staying in the lines. So I would take crayon and I would just really dark, outline the lines really heavy so I wouldn't cross that boundary. Yeah. And I thought that was really good art.
Was there a time in your life when you decided that you weren't going to stay in the lines anymore?
Yeah, when I got older, I decided to screw the lines.
Were you angry? What emotion was that?
I think there was some anger there. I was grieving deeply, and I got oil pastels and chalk pastels and this huge tablet of paper, and it was really therapeutic to just go out of the lines and express my anger and just be like, oh, all over the paper, and whatever happened, and it felt really good to just...
You split up with them to move your car and realize that you need to stir some things up and get a little bit more vulnerable. And when you see that you parked in the wrong spot and got a ticket, you realize that that would be a good start. And when you were an hour early for your doctor's appointment and you were at your childhood small town, you thought you might as well lean in and just visit all the places that give you negative memories. You're immediately greeted by the coffee shop that fired you, and then your blood boils at all the magical Swiss architecture. Yeah. And you just sort of wish that all the memories were dead. You even saw the church that you grew up in, and it was also the school shooting safe spot. And you even saw the church you never got to go to, and the railway station that never had a train, and that place was actually kind of fun. And you felt yourself start to unregulate. So you knew it was the perfect time to go home and do art. So as you're getting ready, you look up and see your grandma's art, and you think maybe she would have some wisdom on emotional art. So you give her a call.
On the way, you can get better at art Just to practice, 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 practice. Don't be afraid of throwing away. Practice, practice. Don't be afraid. Nobody's gonna see it but you.
How do you deal with fear? And be honest.
Shove it back in. I shove it back in. Just take that sucker and just move it down.
When you visit your friend in Chicago, you go to a bookstore and find exactly what you need, and figure you might as well get a second opinion. And just in the introduction, it becomes clear that shoving it in probably won't be helpful. But you also see something about wildness and see that some people can use rage while other people can use trickery and stuff. You get inspired to do a prank, so you start to look up things that possible ancestors invented, and you find a story. And you have AI write a story where a lady invented something that her husband took all the credit for. So you learned how to make paper old and you got to work. And once you were done, you brushed up a little bit on your calligraphy skills and did that to the best of your ability too. And you put it in an old book from your grandma's house so that it looked believable. And you started recording with your phone so you didn't look suspicious.
Hey, Christy. Ella just found this note in this old book that I took from my mom's.
Yeah.
From Charles A. Shaw.
And so she didn't get credit for that invention. Her husband did.
And now we're finding out right now.
Right now.
And look.
Your plan was working perfectly. And just as things started to get more intense,
Well, I don't support this.
No.
I want to tell everybody.
your phone dies. But they're so into it that when you bring out your camera, they don't bat an eye.
Well, my daughter was reading a book, this book, Grimm's Fairy Tales, and we find this piece of paper in there, a note from Kathleen I. Shaw, who suggests that she came up with the patent idea for the Sean Clark sewing machine, and her husband, Charles, took all the credit.
It's amazing.
And we don't know what to do now, but we want to let the clan know that things aren't as they appeared, and we're going to try and make things right. We believe this is Kathleen I. Shaw, who just wrote her descendants, which turned out to be us.
They were starting to spiral, and you knew that you were gonna have to tell them the truth soon.
Oh, here's that sewing machine company. Business together 14 years, eventually moving up to manufacture small portable sewing machines.
Guys,
Yeah.
before we look into this any further, so for my art project, I saw in my book you can touch into different wild sides, and one of the wild sides is trickery. And so I wanted to see if I could make a fake letter that looked old.
You just tricked us? We need to alert the tribe. I know. But that doesn't mean you suck. But her husband didn't do the right thing.
Because if you ever invent something, I'm going to affirm you.
Thank you. We're co-chairs of the affirmation committee.